Hello and welcome back to another video. In this video we're going to be having a look at the Legion traits for Chaos in the Kill Team Elite book. Before we begin, if you'd like to see more videos like this one, please hit the subscribe button and destroy the bell button so that you never miss an upload. Cool, let's get on with it. The subfactions for models with a Heretic Astartes faction keyword are legions, and the subfactions are called Legion traits. If your kill team is Battleforged and all models in your kill team are drawn from the same legion, models in the kill team gain the legion traits described below, and you can use the legion's tactics. If your kill team is drawn from a Renegade chapter or does not otherwise have an associated legion trait, use the Renegade chapter's legion trait. Obviously we'll have a look at that in a tick. It also says Chaos Cultists. Models with a Chaos Cultist keyword cannot be drawn from a Legion. However, their presence in your kill team does not prevent you from using a Legion trait, as long as the models in your kill team that can be drawn from a Legion are all drawn from the same Legion. Note, however, that models with a Chaos Cultist keyword can never themselves benefit from a Legion trait. Now, I believe that might have been changed recently in the rulebook, in the main codex for the main 40k game. It didn't used to be. You used to be able to get it with your cultists, which I kind of liked, and I think it's a bit mean, but obviously I think they're trying to get Chaos players away from using cultist swarms, which is basically a topic for another video. I might rant about it during the video anyway. However, let's crack on. Yeah, that's pretty much the only two rules. If they're all, if it's Battleforged, basically. Battleforged? What does it say? Yeah, Battleforged. All models get the Legion trait and except Chaos Cultist. That's the quick version of that, what we just said. The first one along is Emperor's Children, Flawless Perfection. In ode to everyday sensations, by lifetimes of indulgence, the Emperor's Children find stimulation only in excess, be it shocking acts of violence or gratuitous displays of marital prowess, or martial prowess. Yeah, martial, not marital. Sorry, marital prowess. Being really good at being married. Anyway. Only models with the Slanesh keyword can be drawn from this legion. If a model in your kill team is within 1 inch of an enemy model at the beginning of the fight phase, the model in your kill team is considered to have charged. So that is really good. You don't have to be super aggressive with that one. So Chaos players, Chaos Marines are pretty good anyway. But it would also mean that if they charge you, it makes them irrelevant unless they've got the same rule, and then obviously you'd have to roll off, or whoever charges, whatever the rule is. But that is really good for a passive rule, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't really know what else there is to say about that one, because that one is just quite good, to be honest. Iron Warriors, Siege Lords. Cold-hearted killers whose only faith is in their war gear. The Iron Warriors have perfected siege warfare and are able to gouge out even the most entrenched foes. So Iron Warriors, a little bit of a backstory. If you've been following the channel, you might have mentioned it a couple of times. The very first army I ever collected was Iron Warriors. That was down to the fact that my friends had Space Marines. I believe one had Blood Angels. That was the first person who ever got them. And because we started in 3rd edition, I think James might have had, what was it? Or it might have been Adam who had the Black Templars, because that's how they were painted on the main box. So basically I was left with, oh, well, why don't you get Chaos? They're pretty good. So I got them. Anyway, I did like Iron Warriors, got a bit of a soft spot for them still, but I don't have them anymore. That's just a backstory. Anyway, going back to the actual rules. Models in your kill team do not suffer the penalty to injury rolls for the target of their attacks being obscured and within 1 inch of a model or piece of terrain that is between the two models. So it sounds a bit pants. However, I actually think it's a pretty good one, because the amount of times there's been a bit of terrain or a model between, and just that one roll saves the model. It's pretty good, especially if you've got more than one flesh wound on someone. It greatly increases the chance of just taking them out, because it says they don't suffer the penalty, meaning that there's no out of those two things there's no +1s, so they could have a model in between 1 inch of the model or terrain and they still wouldn't get any penalty to that, which is pretty good. I haven't really worded that correctly or perfectly, but the gist is it's actually good even though it sounds really bad or not very aggressive. Night Lords Terror Tactics. The Night Lords revel in fear and mayhem and will take apart an opposing army piecemeal, isolating the weakest enemies so that their confused cries can be savoured. When an opponent takes a nerve test for a model of their kill team, they must add 1 to the test for each of your models, other than shaken models, that is within 3 inches of that model. So, although it sounds good on paper, it's the opposite of the other way of the other one. It's not going to be that good. So the only way, it's going to be alright, okay? So you're going to add 1, right? Regardless. So if you're close to the end of the game and you've got loads of guys in combat, that's the main way you'd probably do this, is if there was in combat. But with your Chaos Cultists not being able to benefit from that, it wouldn't count. So the one way you'd get around this normally, if Chaos Cultists were allowed to get it, you just have a swarm of Chaos Cultists and you can have like 10 of them around one guy and they'd almost definitely run at all times pretty much. I mean, you can definitely use it, but I personally think this is super passive with the fact that it's within 3 inches of the model, meaning you are going to be in combat pretty much. So that one, Night Lords, gets a bit of a pants poop hammer from me. Obviously, again, if you disagree in the comments, let me know down below. Always willing to hear another side of the argument. We'll move on to Weld Eaters, Butcher's Nails, although it looks like, in my copy, Butcher Snails. I'll maybe do a screenshot and put it on the video, but it's quite funny. Butcher Snails, which sounds a bit mean. Only models with the corn keyword can be drawn from this legion. You can make 1 additional attack in the fight phase with a model from your kill team if it was charged, or made a pile-in move granted by the heroic intervention commander tactic that's in that battle round. So it's a really simple one, but you get +1 attack, which I believe Corn Berserkers will probably be getting a bucket load of dice anyway, so it would make way more sense to just bring them as Weld Eaters. So it's actually a really good way of doing it. And I suppose it really also makes your basic troopers slightly better in combat as well. You could use it passively, but you're not going to be. If you're going to be bringing the Weld Eaters, then you are going to be making a combat based army. At which point you'll win. You won't win, but you've got a lot more attacks. It's basically like having everyone's a combat specialist kind of thing, which is good, in my opinion. Black Legion, Black Crusaders. How long are we on? We're on 8 minutes at the minute, or just thereabouts. Black Crusaders. Inexorable and unflinching, the Black Legion exemplify the threat posed by the heretic Astartes, emerging from the Eye of Terror for the sole purpose of erasing the Imperium from the galaxy. Add 1 to the leadership characteristics of models in your kill team. In addition, models in your kill team can shoot rapid-fire weapons as if they were assault weapons in the shooting phase of that battle round in which they advanced. For example, a rapid-fire 1 weapon would be used as if it were an assault 1 weapon. So you can advance and run, but you wouldn't get the 2 shots. Okay, it's not that bad. It's actually okayish. I think it's good. +1 to leadership makes them slightly better as well. It's a lot like the Ultramarines one, because I believe they do a similar thing with their leadership, but I think they can retreat and shoot still, maybe, or maybe that's. Yeah, so I believe it is something similar to what the Ultramarines got, but I can't remember exactly. So let's move on to the Word Bearers. Profane Zeal. The Word Bearers march to war for the glory of the Chaos Pantheon, stared into a rapturous state of fanaticism by blasphemous, oh, I can't say that word, I don't know how to say that, catechisms, maybe, yeah, and the dark promises of the ruinous powers. You can reroll failed nerve tests for models in your kill team, so that's good, but I believe, don't normal Space Marines get that anywhere in normal kill team? So I think that's really possibly pants. Because if Space Marines get that anywhere, then why would you just play Space Marines, wouldn't you? Right, let me just pause this video again and I'll just have a look on the main rules to see if that's true. One sec. So I was right. The normal Space Marines do get and they shall know no rules, and they get to reroll failed nerve tests. However, the main difference between a Space Marine and a Chaos Space Marine is that the Chaos Marines get the death to the False Emperor. If a model with this ability makes an attack in the fight phase which targets an Imperium model, each time you make a hit roll on a 6+, you make an additional attack with the same weapon that targets the same target. These attacks themselves cannot generate any further attacks. However, pretty much they're the same apart from that. So I suppose it makes them one up on Space Marine, so it's not that bad in that respect. However, I think again it's it's more than levels the playing field a little bit. It seems bad, but I think it's alright, because everyone else will not get to do that. Oh well, we'll see, won't we, as I read the next rules. So the Profane Zeal isn't that bad from Word Bearers. Yeah, it makes them alright, which is good. Good. It's a good passive one then, I suppose. Alpha Legion, hidden in plain sight. The warriors of the Alpha Legion are masters of duplicity, able to mislead and misdirect even the most vigilant of enemies before delivering the killing blow. It says, models in your kill team are considered to be obscured to the enemy that targets them if they are more than 12 inches away from these models. So again, I don't understand why there's a specific range on it, because I do feel like there's other rules that make them, that other kill teams have, that basically just make them always obscured. So I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it's good. It's good, especially if you're doing a shooty list, to be honest. Meaning that it's going to be, although it does say considered to be obscured, they don't get +1. So you could stand out in the open and not worry about being obscured. Apart from, yeah, because then it'd be considered to obscured even when it comes to like injury rolls too, wouldn't it? Unless of course you're going against Iron Warriors. Yeah, it's good, but I don't know why it's 12 inches. Maybe I'm getting this wrong, but I think it's good, not great. Renegade Chapters, Dark Raiders. Freed from the constraints of the Imperium, Renegade Astartes indulge their enhanced capacity for violence. You can reroll charge rolls for models in your kill team. Again, you're not going to be bringing cultists as much with these new rules, or you could, but they're not going to be affected by it. But it does mean your combat-based kill teams in Chaos are going to be more likely to charge. So I think whilst it's a good rule, it's not the best one. Which one do I think is the best one? A lot of these are passive, right? A lot of them are hard to build tactics around, short of Word Bearers being the +1 attack as long as you charge, but you're going to be doing that anyway. And everything else is quite passive, to be honest. In my opinion, a lot of them seem very passive. I mean, you could build a tactic around Siege Lords. Your opponent thinks that they're safe, having their bit of terrain next to them, apart from the -1 to hit. You can, yeah, let me pause this whilst I have a little think about this so I don't sound like a complete moron. yeah, so the two favourites then would be Butcher's Nails +1 attack if you charge or was charged, and the Alpha Legion hidden in plain sight. You can build some good tactics around them, and the Renegade Chapters one's alright as well, reroll and failed charge, but if you're going to shoot in, use the Alpha Legion, my opinion. We'll probably call the video here. I won't lie, I'm a little bit miffed about the Chaos Cultist thing, but I do understand it. Having loads of little cheap infantry, yeah, but that's what the Guard do. That's the kind of the benefit of Chaos, is that you can have really pants people running around absorbing shots whilst you main big dudes. Yeah. What I'll do is I'll just say I am a little bit miffed about the Chaos Cultist. I understand it, but I'm not happy. We will call the video here. Let me know what you think in the comments down below, whether it's about the Chaos Cultist or other rules. Definitely be happy to hear from you. Thanks for watching again, and if you haven't, please consider subscribing. Thank you, and goodbye.